Good evening, ladies, gentlefers, and my lovely NBs. We are here live at Bangor for game number 4 at Shawshank Stadium. My name is Marcus Baylor, and to my right is Ryan Eastman. How are you doing, dude?
I'm doing excellent. We're looking at potentially the game deciding. I mean, it's not game deciding no matter who wins tonight, but in my opinion, whoever wins tonight, I have a strong feeling that we will see wrap it up as the Bangor Tides have an opportunity to go up 3-1 here in the series.
Yeah, this is a very important and pivotal game for, especially when it comes to the wild cards after being absolutely routed in game number 3. Once again, foul trouble being the main storyline within this game for their front court, as this time Ivy Robbins having a little bit being a little bit too um happy with the fouls.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I'm predicting that Warren Doyle will be the one in foul trouble this time. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, like it could happen because considering the fact that we know how important both Brandon and Ivy has been when it came to the front court of Vegas, and if one of them ends up not being able to play significant minutes with throughout the game, it ends up being a very rough time for the wild cards, and that especially was the case being on a tough um field in Bangor.
yeah, and I mean it's gonna be a overall um, God, it, I can't even tell you what to say. The Bangor Tides last game just came out and won by 15, and there is no easy way for Vegas to come into this game confident, I feel like.
Yeah, I think this is really going to be a testament as to if they are ready for a stage like this. Because, like I said, both of these teams have pretty much a lot of players have not been in on this stage as of quite yet until this point. And this is going to be a situation that is very difficult for any player to get through, no matter who they are. You can ask any player being down, having the potential of being down 3-1. It is not a good feeling whatsoever. But, this is a good opportunity for them to prove a lot of doubters wrong and be able to try and take control of it. Because if the wild cards end up winning this game, momentum comes back over to them to be able to go ahead and try and finish this off.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of pressure on the rookies. We actually saw for Bangor side, Angel finally stepping up and
Yep.
helping Bangor take the victory. Whereas for the wild cards, Brandon has last game struggled a bit in terms of productivity. He needs to step up as well. But again, I go to Doyle being the veteran experience of being in the playoffs so far twice in the finals. He really I think needs to take a step forward in the lineup and really try and set himself as the main scorer, even if it's only for a quarter.
Yeah.
Give some confidence to the team around you that, hey, guys, we can step it up. We can do it. I'm doing it. Let's all do it together.
Speaking of confidence, another thing is being able to look at the opposite side of not being overconfident and being complacent throughout this next game. Yes, you have all the momentum in the world right now, especially after an amazing performance that you had in game number 3. You still have to be able to focus in because when someone is on their last dying breath, they're going to do everything out of desperation. It's desperation mode for on the wild card's end. So you need to continue to lock it in and make sure to get into the best position that you need within the series.
And speaking of, the players are heading to the court, so let's cut on down.
Yep, and here we go once again. The Tides in the white with the cards in the gold. But this time, the wild cards are going to be the one to win the tip off. So Vegas will start things up in this opening segment as Brandon hands it over to Warren. Warren, who has been awfully quiet, this is over to Brandon, and Brandon slamming it home. Great start off for Brandon after struggling in game number 3, really trying to shake things off from yesterday.
Well, not just that, but Doyle leading the play on that one. And
Oh,
immediately as you say that, Brandon getting his first foul. So a step forward and 2 steps back.
yeah, that
34
is for
seconds
sure.
in and first foul. 20, 34 seconds. Not even 30 seconds in.
Yeah, we're just about to hit the 30-second mark as soon as we pass it over to Oakley. And yeah, you got to really be careful here. That's not something you want to see in the early goings. You got to play a lot more cleaner as Angel being able to clean up a couple of misses and finally gets it down.
Boxing out was something I brought up in game number 3 as an issue, and that was because Robbins was off the floor for so long, and Angel was able to get those offensive boards. We're already seeing it here tonight, and even if Robbins is off the floor, you have to box out everyone. You can't just be a lazy on it. And Doyle hitting 3.
Nice. Yep, Doyle with the 3 there. We're now starting to see Doyle actually waking up a little bit after being quiet for these past few games within the series.
Well,
And
it's
that's
almost
something you need to.
I say it's almost funny. Doyle dished to Baylor to get the first basket, and Baylor dished to Doyle to get the second basket.
Yeah, and right now, Angel really starting to make some noise here in the early going. She's certainly found her footing within this series as she's already made the first 2 baskets for the Tides and have a chance for an old school 3-point play.
Well, and now both bigs for Vegas have picked up their first foul in the first minute and some change here, and that's not what we were talking about. Hopefully that they were going to come in on. That is the opposite of what we were hoping for.
Yeah, that is the worst case scenario. You already have 2 fouls hitting to both of your bigs respectively. But right now we are seeing a quick little finger roll that's not going to go down this time for Doyle. And now Anari is able to go and lay it down. And now Bangor is up by 2. Taking his first lead of the game. We'll see how the Cards respond to this as Murphy gets the screen from Ivy. Trying to go in there, and it's going to be good. So, a little bit more success in the paint compared to Game 3 right now for Vegas. We'll see how that continues on and how the Tides are going to adapt as things go, as we roll on.
Yeah, I mean, they're attacking the paint, but also, again, we saw Doyle just hit a 3, so... Oh, and speaking of, intercepting that passing lane perfectly.
Yeah, what a great way for Doyle. Saying his name quite a lot throughout this game, but now Morrison has the rock, and she hands it back over to Warren. See a quick pass to Brandon, who just it into the paint, but it's almost losing the ball there, but Ivy able to finally get it in her paws, but has to try and go for a desperate layup, but it's no good. Can't really be careless like that when it comes to turnovers because Vegas turned over the ball quite a lot within game number 3.
Yeah, turnovers, another stat to draw attention to in terms of if they can produce, but Bangor's field goal percentage, thankfully, is starting out a little bit more in the realms of reasonable for Vegas. It's not like they're having to face off against a 66% shooting team.
Yeah, that is certainly the case, and it gives it a more manageable position. But right now, as I was going to say, the Vegas is really holding their own, but they have been playing pretty sloppy in the early goings as we get an offensive 3-second violation on the Cards. And that's not really you want to see right there. You got to minimize that in this stage.
Yeah, and we saw that also yesterday, if you remember, twice getting called for the offensive 3-second violation, which, again, it is not how you want to be playing this game and giving away free possessions like that.
Yeah, right now Ash trying to get into the paint, trying to go toe for toe with Brandon, and finds a way to get that rebound, and we'll be able to clean things up.
Yeah, see, the Raccoon was able to box out the Bear, but, the other way around hasn't been working.
Yeah, that certainly hasn't really been the case here as Lindsay trying to make some magic of her own, and she goes for a quick mid-ranger, but it's not going to be good this time. Angel with the rebound. And okay, Ona looking to get into the paint. Getting guarded well by Lindsay, and Lindsay able to go ahead and defend off well as Doyle does get the rebound. So right now, Vegas really doing a good job on the defensive end to try to keep things close as they try to find their footing again on offense. And now Warren getting the quick screen from Ivy. Trying to get something in the lane, but loses the ball on the way up. But luckily, the Cards able to escape from that turnover as a paw gets turned out of bounds, and the Wildcards will call a timeout.
Yeah, I feel like Wildcards are going to be a little bit more aggressive in their timeout calling after the last game. They're not going to let it get out of hand like it did again, remember, they were extremely close at one
Hmm.
point and then suddenly fell apart.
Yeah,
And
they were able to climb it back down to a 4-point game, but like within 2 minutes within the third quarter, as we get a quick tie up with Lindsay with the mid ranger. Within 2 minutes, because of the sloppy play, it just blew way out of proportion, up to a 21-point lead at one point in Game 3.
yeah, so I feel like the coach is going to try and avoid letting them get in that situation again as soon as they start to feel like, players are losing focus. Going to call them out and get them in a fast
Whew.
break again. Doyle has put up an excellent showing thus far.
Yeah, and a great dish there from Lindsey Morrison with a quick pass over into the paint. And now Vegas once again taking the lead, 11-9 here, as we get to see the ball getting loose there on Bangor's end, and Ivy picks it up. So now Murphy gonna go for a quick spin move, but gets blocked there. We've seen that quite often from the Tide, as Oakley comes up with the block this time, and Inari able to lay it up and in, tying it up 11 apiece.
Yeah, that fast break opportunity, I would have maybe dished it to Brandon there, but obviously Murphy trying to do a little bit of ISO, not able to get the basket to fall, and hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt them.
And right now get a quick screen there for Brandon, but didn't really do much on that one. And instead, it goes over to Doyle. Doyle almost losing the ball there, and gets blocked once again, but Robbins able to clean things up just as the shot clock was about to hit 0. So Vegas got a little lucky on that one, as a desperation shot had to be made.
Very lucky. I mean, it bounced just in the perfect spot for Robbins to be able to get to it and actually put up a decent shot.
Yeah, now Oakley going toe for toe against Brandon. Gets the screen. Got the switch going. And Brandon almost taking the ball away from Oakley. Trying to go hard against him defensively. And Brandon able to do some good defensive movements within that one.
Yeah, and again, I think that nearly losing the ball rattled Oakley there for a second. And, sure, he collected it back up, but his focus was a little shaky at that point.
Yeah, now the Vegas has a chance to extend the lead a little bit, as you get to see a quick shot of the mid-ranger from Morrison, but it's not going to be good this time. So McDonald Rainbow gets this rebound. So right now the Tide doing a really good job, as oh my goodness, Baylor knocking that out of the atmosphere, but it gets caught up by the Tide. Get a quick mid-ranger, but it's going to be in now as Ivy takes the rock. And right now, Brandon is not playing any more games here, as Doyle tries to lay it up, but gets fouled by Ash Van Zandt.
Yeah, honestly, great defensive showing thus far, and good heads-up play by, I think it was Inari to pull down the ball that was sent flying her way. Did not let it go out of bounds, even though they would have retained possession at the very least. Even though on the other end, Vegas now up by 4 thanks to those free throws.
Yeah, right now Vegas doing a much better job taking control, and now the Tides is going to have to call a timeout here, as they need to find some kind of control within this game, as the crowd has kind of been dead silent so far after that swat.
Well, not just the swap, but missed opportunities, and remember, game number 3, Vegas never led. At best they started tied, and ever since that first possession, we're down. And this game is already starting off on a much better foot for them.
Yeah, that is certainly the case, and we are seeing some of the second unit get some minutes in within game number 4. We'll see how things get adjusted as things goes on. We get a quick 3 ball, and it's going to go in and out this time. And Baylor once again with the board. So now, O'Hara looking to try to get into the paint, but instead settles in for a mid-range. It's not going to be good, but St. Martin is able to go ahead and get the rebound, and will draw the foul against Kataguri. So they will go on the line for 2.
That category was a big factor we've seen thus far in the series, even coming off the bench, giving high value minutes with her production. So keep an eye on her and see how she's able to continue to perform the rest of the series.
Yeah, now Vegas up by 6. Got a little bit of cushion going here. We'll see if that continues on, as Smith going for a mid-range, and it's not going to be good this time, as Lindsay does get the rebound. And so far, we're getting to see a quick pass over to Fletcher. Now, St. Martin having to go for a tough mid-range, and it's not going to go down this time as we get a quick rebound there for Category. And now, Debakojic looking to get into that mid-range, and it's good.
Oof. Answering back, thankfully keeping it close, as Vegas is looking to pull away here and, establish themselves early with good momentum.
Yeah, right now, O'Hara hands it over to Morrison. Morrison gets a little bit of a screen. Was looking for a three, but decided against it. Instead, hands it over to Brandon. Brandon pass it over to Fletcher. Lots of passing for the Cards as Morrison has to do something with it as O'Hara ends up with it with the three, and it's not going to go down this time. So really good defense there from the Ties, not giving any kind of opportunity for them to go through a lane and staying with each other's first.
Yeah, and I would have preferred Morrison there, and a legal screen getting called.
Yeah, and very rare we get to see a turnover there for the Ties from an illegal screen. So an unforced error in that case.
Brandon wishes it was rare, considering he got called for it twice in game one. So I think the refs are keeping an eye on that, and they're not letting anything slide. Unlike their
right
calls.
Now Parks trying to go for a three, but Fletcher finds a way to get the offensive board and clean things up. And right now the Cards really keep taking control with a 14-6 run in the majority of the 6 minutes.
Yeah, Bangor's gone cold, and I think something the bench is a good way to possibly give a spark off the bench, but we just haven't seen it. Even Category, right there, trying to get her involved, but tip pass.
Yeah, tip pass going over to Vegas as Arini tries to go for a layup, but it gets blocked as well. Both defenses not going to allow an easy layup like that to be happening. And right now we get to see another defensive effort being served well there as St. Martin gets the board. A little bit of a double team on that drive. But now Vegas trying to slow things down a little bit. We see a lot of passing. We see a quick screen. Going up for the layup, and it's good. So far, the Wild Cards really doing good, in 40% when it comes to field goal percentage compared to the Tides 33. And the Ties have been relatively quiet in the early goings of the first quarter. Much different situation compared to game number 3. As we get to see a quick layup, not going to go down, but Category's able to get the clean up and slam it home.
There we go, Category. We were missing some of that explosiveness from you and bringing it out when your team needs it most.
Yeah, much needed basket, and that made the crowd come alive after this one. As things slowly get pulled over here, we get a quick mid-ranger, and it's not going to go down this time, but Parks links it up, and it's good. So Vegas still trying to keep that cushion up as they are up by 8, 23-15, with less than a minute left in the first quarter. Like I said, we still got a lot of time left as Category ends up passing it over to Dupuy. And we get to see a reach-in foul there from St. Martin. So it will stay on the Ties' possession. It's not going to be any free throws here since a shot wasn't attempted. But right now, you got to say, Vegas, right now so far, has been playing some pretty clean basketball. Didn't see the calls being called against them so far in this quarter. But that could change on a whim, depending on how things go. As we get a nice play there for the Tides, as Fullerton slams it home.
Yeah, I mean, that is a great inbound play, drawn up to get a basket quick, and especially when they hit most. And again, the screen's coming out for Vegas, but it's going to be St. Martin not able to get the second chance to fall.
Yeah, right now, Bangor has a chance to possibly cut this down to a 2-possession game. Well, excuse me, a 4-point game. It's already 2 possessions. But it looks like they want to make the final shot here as well. There's only a second separation between the shot clock and the game clock for this quarter. And right now, we see a quick pass to McRae. McRae going for a long 2. And it's good!
Ooh.
Great shot there to end the quarter, but Vegas is still going to be up by 4, 23-19. And I gotta say, if you're a Wildcards fan, even though that last second shot could turn down the momentum a little bit, it's a much better showing compared to the first quarter of Game 3. Because I believe the Ties had 31 points at the end of that quarter.
It was a much different score situation. Obviously, I think Vegas is still not necessarily going to be so happy with how efficiently they've been shooting, but they have been putting a stop to Bangor, and that's, that's all. They just have to outscore them in the end.
That is certainly the case here, as now we're seeing a lot of passing here for the Tides. Possibly cut this down to a one-possession game if they can get this. As Angel does get fouled there by Ivy, a very hard foul at that. So Angel will go in the line for 2.
Yeah, that's a second foul on Ivy now. Not in panic mode in terms of, foul trouble, but got to be a little more careful.
Yeah, I can imagine that Ivy may not try to be as aggressive, as she's able to get the quick rebound after the missed free throw from Angel. So they're only down by 3 as we get a quick layup there, making sure that they keep that 2-possession game on lock with that quick basket. But yeah, you got to see that now that Ivy is trying her best to try to keep the defense going, but they're going to attack her quite often now with the fact that she has 2 fouls already.
Yeah, I mean, that is who you attack. You know someone is in foul trouble, especially if how impactful having her off the floor was in game number 3. And a 3-point play opportunity for Vegas on the other end.
Yeah, McRae getting called for the foul there, but Baldacci is not able to get that one going down. So Vegas still up by 5, 27-22. And right now we still got a lot of minutes to play here in game number 4. And we get a quick 3 from McRae once again. It's good. That was a clean 3 there. Oh, actually, no, it's a long 2. Excuse me. Apparently the boss is on the line.
He deserves a bonus point because that was the most difficult 3 I think possible. And Inari gonna steal the ball. A chance to tie this up, and she does.
Yes. Kayanoa White Inari able to go and get that, tie things up really quick after that quick steal. And that's something that Vegas needs to be careful, because now the crowd's back into this. And you got to be a little bit worried here, trying to make sure to stay in it mentally, as another miss there for Vegas, and Vegas has a chance to take the lead now.
Yeah, I'd call a timeout if I was Vegas on the next possession. You cannot sit here and watch the team come back in a heartbeat like that. And that's just heartbreak. Again, a pointless turnover. Not keeping a good eye on the ball, Bo. You got to be careful. You're going to get benched if you keep giving up the ball like you did.
Yeah, now Murphy is able to get the screen, and it's not going to be good on for that pick and pop opportunity. So we're still tied here as McDonald Rainbow looking to change that real quick, but gets fouled hard, but still gets the and one opportunity.
Oh, Bangor is suddenly back in this game, and I have now questions for Vegas.
Yeah, but it looks like they're going to sub in some of the starters back into this game as Brandon's back on the court. And yeah, now they're down by 3 after that. I can imagine that they could be calling a timeout if another basket is made, as Brandon ends up losing the ball, and Kayanoa Inari is able to go ahead and get this rock, laying it up, and it's good.
The wheels have fallen off the wagon, Marcus. A timeout is necessary.
Yep, they had to call timeout here as a huge swing just ended up happening out of nowhere, as the Tides are able to get momentum right back onto their side of the court. And right now, Vegas is going to have a tough discussion of trying to make sure everyone's still back in it mentally.
Without a doubt, they are not in it right now, and they need to refocus very quickly. And hopefully the coach has drawn up a good inbound play to go off of, because they need to silence this crowd. And a 3! Oh, off the screen.
Right off the screen, and that quiet things down very quickly. And a much-needed basket at that, because if they did make that, it was going to get ugly really, really quickly. But now, Inari hands it over to Devikovic. Devikovic getting guarded pretty heavily against Brandon. Might have to look for an open fur, and we do get just that, as McDonald Rainbow not able to get it down this time, as O'Hara finds a way to get the board. And so far, so good, as O'Hara does draw the foul against Oakley for the reach-in.
Yeah, I mean, Bangor, we've seen they're coming out aggressive this quarter, going for the strips, and uh, as Vegas, you have to be mindful of that. You can't let them get those turnovers and start getting them in foul trouble when they do start reaching in.
Yeah, right now we do see Ivy and Baylor back on the court together. And now Warren looking to possibly try to get into the paint, but instead hands it over to Murphy. Murphy having to go for another tough three, but it's in and out. And here right now, McDonald Rainbow looking to try to get a mid-range of his own, but it's not going to be good. But we get a off-the-ball foul against Oakley.
Well, that's two very quickly against the Bear.
And all honesty, now Vegas might have an opportunity to start attacking Oakley a little bit to put him into foul trouble. But right now, we do see Murphy hand it over to Baylor. Baylor going for a mid-range, but it's going to be in and out this time. And right now, see you get a nice dish from McDonald Rainbow as he slams it home. Now the Tides are up by 4. Crowd still getting into it. We get a screen from Ivy. Warren has the rock at this point. Looking for a possible for an Ivy to probably get it done as a tough mid-range gets shot at, but it's not going to be good. O'Hara is able to get the rebound, but the second opportunity is not going to go down this time as Anari, she's able to go for the quick dash to McDonald Rainbow, and just like that, Bangor is up by 6.
Yeah, and you see there just an absolute masterclass in the fast break, and AMR is sprinting down the court before has any opportunity. Ooh, Ash now his second foul. Fouls are starting to come in on both sides.
Yeah, but that was a much needed foul to be drawn for the Cards, as they're going to need these free throws here, because they have been making free throws quite a bit, but the second one gets missed. Yeah, right now, Bangor is out rebounding Vegas at this point, and we get another foul there, this time on Morrison, and it's a blocking foul, they're saying.
Oh, well, I mean, we'll keep possession. So
yeah, it's an interesting call there, but there will be no free throws being shot here because it wasn't really an attempt, as Oakley goes for a mid-range and they make it look easy.
Well, it does bring them closer to the bonus. So, I mean, that is one thing to keep in mind. And Wildcard's calling timeout once again. They're down by 7. They need to change something up here.
Yeah, because right now, the same thing, we're seeing the same situation happen again with Bangor, having to basically just being able to take advantage and going for being very pesky, using their good pause to get use, and getting those turnovers that is really been haunting the Cards these past couple of games.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, the fact, and that's how they've had these unbelievably quick runs where, you know, they get a couple turnovers and immediately they're up by double digits suddenly. And, you know, they need to put a stop to that. Speaking of, thankfully it was tipped out of bounds, so it will stay in Vegas's possession. But point being, the ball was lost for a second there.
Yeah, they really got to be careful with those, with how pesky the Tides have been so far this game. And right now, Warren passes it over to O'Hara. Lots of passing along the perimeter as Brandon has it. Instead passes it over to Warren. Might go for the screen. Does get it. Going for the 3. And it's going to be in and out. So right now, the 3-point is not really going down here for the Cards. As right now, we get to see another foul being drawn by O'Hara this time. And they're just one foul away from going into the bonus already with just 6 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, they've been fouling mostly on the shot attempts anyway, so it's not like the bonus will come into play unless they start getting more aggressive on the steal attempts or, you know, those illegal screens. Those actually don't count towards team fouls, but, you know, charging, blocks, those do.
Yeah, and right now, Vegas is now at risk of being down by double digits if they don't make a basket here. So they need to find a way to get momentum back on their side as Morrison goes for a mid-ranger, and it's going to be good this time.
And I don't necessarily want them to move away from the 3 game. They've hit a couple big ones, Warren and Fenton. So it will be very impactful, but they can't take dumb shots with them.
Yeah, right now Vegas is able to get a stop there defensively. So they're going to try and chip away this lead as much as they can. But right now the crowd screaming defense. Morrison passes it over to Ivy. Ivy looking to possibly pass it here. Does end up doing so. Trying to give it to Morrison. Morrison go for a heave. And it's not going to be good. But Ivy able to clean things up with a slam of her own. After a quick offensive rebound.
Yeah, I don't know how she managed to pull that down, but she did. And, you know, again, the second chance buckets, that's one way to stay in this game. And to silence the crowd as well.
Ooh, they're not going to do it there after Kayanoa is able to go and go for that spin move into that basket. So then once again, up by 7. And right now, Ivy getting guarded well. Almost got looking like a double team for a little bit, but hands it over to O'Hara. O'Hara looking to go ahead and go for the basket as she's able to get it down. But right now at this moment, both teams kind of at a stalemate a little bit. Both of them are able to find some answers offensively, but it's just the defense kind of slowing down a little bit as Oakley goes for a mid-range. And it's going to be in and out, and Baylor is able to get the rebound.
Yeah, he got beat there, actually. He got a lucky bounce on the ball, bouncing a little further away. That would have been an easy offensive rebound if it had fallen a little bit shorter.
Yeah, right now.
Not shooting well, 1 of 6 thus far tonight.
Yeah, not very efficient at this moment, but right now the Tides aren't taking really any kind of advantage of that, as O'Hara is looking to try and get into the paint again, but instead dishes it over to Brandon. And now Brandon trying to get into the paint himself, but instead loses the ball almost. And he goes for a desperation mid-range, and he's able to get it down.
I think he's as surprised as the rest of us that he was able to make that after nearly losing the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that cheeky grin, but I know him. He's literally just like, bro, I don't know how that went in, but hey, with that basket, they do find themselves only down by 3 now after almost getting into a double-digit deficit. So right now, Vegas has started to gain more control here, as we do see some substitutions on both ends.
Well, they're showing some life, but can they continue up this trend? Because we've seen how quickly it falls apart for them.
And yeah, that open 3 could have been disastrous in the opening after that opportunity. But right now, Aridi is trying to go for the quick layup, and we get a goaltending on Kataguri. So that basket will count, and just like that, the Cards are only down by 1.
Yeah,
and I know how aggressive the Tides can be, but that is something you really don't want to do, especially in a situation like that when you're that close.
No, not at all. And I mean, you talk about rarities. Goaltending is usually not what you see called. And a great block there by St. Martin. And yep, it will stay with the Tides.
It will stay with the Tides. The Cards did end up having to touch the ball last. I know Morrison was trying to save it, but it ended up not working out. But
yeah, I thought she managed to
on the shot clock.
I was expecting her to be able to grab it, but just out of bounds. And that's a wide open look for Fullerton though, and he has been consistent this series.
Yeah, Fullerton wide open for that 3. We'll make it any day of the week.
That was a 2.
Oh, well, long 2. Still though, long range shot can be made any day of the week. So now Bangor once again up by 3. We'll see how Vegas responds to this. A nice screen from Ivy, and does dish it over to Ivy, but Ivy not able to get it down there as Kataguri gets the rebound.
Yeah, I want to look at the stats once we get to the half, as we only have 2 minutes left to go, but I feel like Kataguri has not been nearly as impactful as she has the previous series.
Yeah, right now we're looking at the bench of the Vegas has really kind of held their own as well, as they are outscoring the Tide's bench by 7. So,
Well, I think this is the first time that they have outscored. It's really been, the Bangor bench outscoring. So
ooh,
that might be the difference maker here if
ooh.
Vegas can get back in this.
Yeah, and right now Fletcher trying to make the most of that possession after trying to get a second chance opportunity, but it gets snuffed pretty quickly. But now Fullerton getting guarded very well, was looking to get a shot here, but instead passes over to Kataguri. Kataguri trying to make a tough shot, but it's no good. And oh my goodness, Ivy had her paws outside of the line, and it will be a turnover there. So the Tides have another opportunity with a fresh 24.
Yeah, that is really unfortunate in terms of losing track of where you were on the floor.
Yeah, and now Bangor having a lot of time left to really try to find something. We'll see what they do here. As we get a quick mid-ranger there, but it's not going to be good. And Baldaki going for the long rebound. Will go for the lob, and it gets a quick alley-oop dunk there for St. Martin.
Back within 3 now. It's possible they could tie this up if they can stop Bangor here. They still have time.
Yeah, right now we get a quick pass from DePoy. DePoy getting a nice dish to McRae, and McRae is able to clean things up. So right now, Bangor making a lot of magic within the paint so far. We get a nice screen. Quick pass for St. Martin, who is wide open for 3, and it's good.
Well, that would have been the tie if they had managed to stop Bangor in the last position. But based on the remaining time, I think Vegas will have the final opportunity here. So they just need to stop Bangor now, and they have an opportunity to tie or take the lead.
And it's looking to not be the case there as we get a quick, easy basket there for Bangor. But still, they have an opportunity to cut this deficit down to a single possession if things go well. We might see Morrison might take the final shot here. But instead, that's not going to be the case as we get a nice play there being developed as we do get a finger roll layup for the Tides, and that's how we're going to end it. So Bangor does have the lead, but it's a very small one as they're up 50-48 at the end of the first half.
Yeah, but don't forget, and we're going to keep harping on it, we've seen leads vanish with this team. So the Tides, even being up by 2, could very quickly be up by 10 if Vegas does not come into the second half as focused as they were there at the closing minutes of that quarter.
Yeah, that is certainly the case. That's going to be one of the biggest things is can the Cards lock in as we go ahead and get into the stats here. And once again, we're seeing a lot of even Steven scoring lines. Oakley struggling a little bit as well as Ash. And that's going to be pretty much the big talking point right now.
Yeah, for the first time, Ash and Oakley both having some difficulties, and even Kataguri has been quiet. I mean, 2 blocks, I mean, that's as quiet as you can be. But, she was really being big on the scoring end for Bangor in the series. So to see her only put up 2 points in the first half, I think Vegas has finally made some adjustments on how to deal with her when she comes off the bench. And for Vegas, I don't feel like any one player has like really jumped out and stepped up here. Doyle might be the one with the highest score.
Yeah, I mean, like it really kind of goes to show that they're having more of a generally a team effort. In all honesty, I think you got to give some credit to the bench as well because we've seen St. Martin coming in with 7 points as well, tying with Doyle coming off the bench. So it's really been going into trying to make this an overall team effort and really be more aggressive on defense as well.
Well, right now it is their defense 100% that's keeping them in it. Because again, look at that. No one scored double digits on that team in the first half. It's great that you're sharing the ball, but you need your stars to step up in the prime time and lead your team to a victory. You can't just stay close. You have to have the lead at the end of the game.
Yeah, right now as we're starting things up, the Tides will have the first possession of the second half as Aspen Dent about to go for a mid-range, but it's not going to be good. But Oakley having opportunity after opportunity, but Ivy will get called for her 3rd personal of this game. It's not as stressful compared to how it was at the second quarter, before it happened in the second quarter. So still got to keep an eye on that one, though.
No, like I said, at this point, this is early for the third foul, but if a fourth foul gets called in the next couple minutes, we might see her subbed out just to protect, you know, her for the last bit of the game, because you cannot afford to lose Ivy to foul trouble.
Yeah, you can't. Oakley making his 2 free throws, bringing the lead up to 4, 52-48. Only 4 points so far in this game, so you would have to hope that Oakley would step it up if you're a Tides fan. And now Lindsay looking to go into the drive, going for a quick mid-range, and it's good. So right now, the Tides have the better overall field goal percentage, but it's been very, very close between the two teams. And we got a nice dish over to Angel, and Angel ducks it down.
Yep, she's coming alive once again when her team needs it, and you know, that's the trouble that I think Vegas is having. Like, yeah, they're shutting down Oakley, but then you still got Angel you're dealing with, and Rainbow will get called for the foul there on the contact, but you know, what are you really accomplishing at this point with these drives to the basket? Your field goal percentage is not necessarily where it needs to be. Wild cards, you need to start getting some open looks and stop attacking the paint, because we've seen how often they get blocked when they do that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I will say that it has been a little bit less compared to what it was in game number 3, but it's still going to be a bit of an issue. They do need to try and expand the defense a little bit with a couple of threes, because Murphy has hit one. We already know what Morrison has the ability to really start taking over with a few threes, and Doyle as well.
Well, even if they just extend it to the mid-range, use the screens, get a little bit more open. Even the alley-oops, off the screen, go for the alley-oop. Like that right there for McDonald Rainbow. Wide open off of a screen from mid-range. A well-drawn-up play, and he is shooting very well tonight, 6 of 9.
Yeah, the efficient scoring there from McDonald Rainbow, as we get to see another shot from Morrison. Morrison trying to do a little bit of that herself as well, as Morrison already with 8 points. And now Oakley getting fouled from behind by Brandon, as Oakley was wide open within the paint. Brandon had no choice but to foul pretty hard there. So Oakley will once again all go on the line for 2.
Yeah, and I mean, he's been quiet in terms of actually being able to produce down the post, but even then he's going to find his way to the basket, and sending him to the free throw line at least is the best chance for him to miss maybe one of those on. Like I said, that was as open as he could be, pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. As now Oakley going for the second one is able to go down. So now Oakley's kind of like slowly racking his points up via free throws, as the Tides are now up by 4, 58-54, and an attempted dish into the paint to Brandon did not go well, as Oakley's able to intercept it, and now Oakley cleans things up just to extend that lead once again. Now Bangor really having a lot of opportunities to go ahead and really take control of this game. We'll see how the Cards respond. Morrison trying to get something into the paint. Instead, this is over to Ivy. Ivy lays it up and in.
Offense is picking up now for both teams, and Vegas at least is staying in rhythm with Bangor. They're not letting them pull away like they have so many times previously in this series. But who's going to blink first? Who's going to go off the rails and start making those silly mistakes?
Yeah, right now a lot of passing here for the Tides. McDonald Rainbow is not going to get it down this time, as Murphy does get the rebound. Murphy bringing it up the court. And right now we get a quick screen there from Brandon. Brandon is looking to call for it, and it does end up getting it in the paint. And now he has a wide open lane, but he misses the shot.
Oh, unfortunate there. A little too open.
Yeah, that's not what you really want to see here, is, again, Brandon not having a great game so far in game number 4. And now McDonald Rainbow does get the screen, has an opportunity, and will get the long 2 to go down. Once again, up by 6.
I mean, even if Brandon has a bad game, as long as he is shutting down Oakley and making him have just as bad of one, it's fine. Vegas has other scores, but, you know, they have to step up is the problem.
Yeah, right now Ivy trying to get something going over on offense, but it's not going to go down this time. So right now, Ties have a chance to make this a 3-possession game with the basket. Right now, Renari hands it over to McDonald Rainbow. And now good dish over to Angel. Angel go toe for toe, rookie for rookie, and Baylor was able to swat it out of Angel, but it will still be Ty's ball, but with just about 3 seconds left of the shot clock.
Yeah, they're going to have to do an inbound play and get it off quick, and they're actually subbing Rainbow out, give him a chance to catch his breath, but I'd almost keep him in just for this play to try and get a 3 off the inbound.
Yeah, right now we're seeing a final open, but oh my goodness!
Well,
Lindsey Morrison tipping it back out, saying, "Now we're going to do this again," and now the Tie is going to have to call a timeout.
well, okay, the Tides are calling timeout so they can inbound it from the side instead of underneath the basket. That's going to give them a little bit easier of an opportunity to find someone on the inbound. I don't hate the timeout call here. Like I said, it's going to give them a little bit better of an inbound chance. Actually, sorry, no, they're going to draw up the play here because they can't afford to get tipped out. They lost 0.5 seconds because of that.
Yeah, so right now we're seeing a lot of movement. The defense doing pretty good as Van Zant ends up with the rock. Has to go for a desperation 3, and it's going to be in and out, but Angel able to clean things up and the and one opportunity.
And the fourth
Ivy
foul.
Robbins with the fourth. Oh my goodness. Ivy Robin with the 4th foul. And now the discussion has to be made of whether or not you'd want to sub her out here, as the old school 3-point play is now done. And now Vegas once again down by 9, at risk of being down double digits for the first time in this game.
Yeah, and they're going to keep her in and open them up to the possibility of her drawing a 5th foul. And, you know, I think Bangor is going to attack her. And, speaking of losing the ball there.
Yeah, and now Bangor has a chance to take the double-digit lead, and we get a foul there. This time, Ivy Robbins does get her 5th foul, and they have no choice but to sub her out.
Yep, well, that's the last we'll be seeing of Robbins this quarter, and that is absolutely heartbreaking in terms of what Vegas needs to be looking for to do now that she's on the bench. And, you know, Brandon now has to really step up at the center position, and there we go. Bangor at their first double-digit lead. You were talking about it, and there it is.
Yeah, now things are going to... This is the worst-case scenario as Baylor is trying to find ways to clean things up, but does get his own miss as he tries to go for a quick dunk to try and shut things out. He will need to have more efforts like that in order to keep his team in this game.
Yeah, I got into a little patty cake match down there in the post as they kept batting the ball back and forth between each other. Thankfully, he was able to pull it back in.
Yeah, but now this time, Oakley heading over to Inari. And right now, Noah going for a high finger roll, and it's going to be good. Nice little teardrop there, as Kiyomi has 14 points so far in this game. Now Lindsay dishes over to Baylor. Baylor trying to go for a tough mid-range, but it's getting defended hard there by Oakley.
And Bangor an opportunity to pull away. And this is where, you know, Vegas might want to call timeout after this possession, whether or not it goes in. You know, they've started to lose the game plan, but a fast break and a hard foul from Angel.
Now Doyle will go on the line for 2, trying to get it back within single digits. And they're going to pretty much need these points as much as possible as we're really getting into that final stretch here in the 3rd quarter.
I mean, we're hitting the halfway point, and what was a one-possession game has definitely not gone the way that Bangor, the Wild Cards would have wanted. You know, they drew up a wonderful game plan, I'm sure, and everything has kind of fallen apart now that Robin's going to be on the bench. When do you expect to see her back in? When do you think the coach finally says, okay, we can afford to risk you going out on fouls now?
Honestly, it'll probably be within the final 5 minutes of the game. I don't imagine seeing Ivy for a while now, and we get to see a quick layup, and it's going to be good there for Bangor as they're once again up by 11. And that's going to be really the tough situation, because with her being at the brink of fouling out, there's not much that they can really do here in the situation. If we get another turnover, we get another layup, and again, it's good. And we're now seeing the same situation happening again as game number 3, as soon as one of their front court players have to sit out for a good margin, Vanguard just starts attacking the rim. And now we're seeing another timeout.
Yeah, I'm actually going to counter you and say that we're going to see her before the end of the third quarter, I feel like, because, you know, you can keep her on the bench as long as you want, but it doesn't matter if you're down by 20 points by the time you bring her back in. You have to bring her in, you know, while she's still going to be able to have impact. Sure, you might lose her, but, you know, you're down by 13. What's bringing her back in the final 5 minutes of the game going to do really to help you compared to bringing her back in
Oof.
much earlier? So I would be shocked if we don't see her before the end of the quarter.
Yeah, Fenton almost in the ball there, does end up getting a basket off, but it's not going to be good. So Bangor still has a chance to expand this lead once again. And it really all depends on how Vegas tries to contain things, because right now they're not doing a very good job so far, as they are down by 13. And another opportunity to try to steal, but Smith gets called for the reach in this time. So now all of the second unit for the tie, well, excuse me, the cars are coming in. And we will see some major changes over on the tie side as well. And right now, with this second unit for the wild cards, we'll have to find something to be able to get this team back within a respectable deficit.
Something. I mean, we saw the bench was outscoring.
Oh no!
Oh no! Both of us same time seeing that turnover.
Yeah, that's not looking good. They're really being very sloppy here, as the turnover is starting to stack up a little bit within this quarter. Remember, this is the same quarter in game number 3 where Bangor just took control of everything and just wrapped things up. And we get a quick miss there this time, as O'Hara does get the rebound. And now O'Hara getting fought off very well here. But then we get a quick dish to Aridi. Get a quick pass over to St. Martin. Back over to Aridi. A lot of passing so far. Get a quick screen. Another screen gets called, but this time hands it over to Fletcher. Lots of passing as Martin goes for mid-range, but it's in and out.
Well, I was going to say we saw, you know, the bench for Vegas be very effective in the first half, but right now they're not doing it. They're almost afraid to shoot the ball, as you talk about all that passing, and the shot clock was right about to get in there, about to go off. And oh no, strip ball there. Fast break for King.
Yep. And like that, we are now at a 15-point deficit if you're a wild card, and that is not something you want to see. As an alley-oop pass starts to get over, and St. Martin is able to get it. Very dangerous pass there within the paint, but it does work out for them.
Yeah, we're back to that margin of that we saw, you know, the last game end at, and Vegas looked like they had a good game plan going in that first half, and we need to see some kind of change when this quarter ends. You know, there has to be a frank discussion about what they're going to do to finish this game out.
Yeah, right now Oakley once again with a lot of smaller players on the wild cards end. Oakley can get second chance opportunities all day, every day, with both Brandon and Ivy on the bench. It's going to be really hard to try and defend the paint well without those two.
Yeah, and again, I feel like we're going to have to see Ivy before the end of this quarter. There's no way they can keep letting Oakley just roll them over. And again, Oakley's not a very big fur. He's only 6'9". You know, I would expect Wallstein and St. Martin to be able to have impact on him, but he is just bullying them.
Yeah, and right now it's crazy that Vegas this quarter is 50% for field goal shooting, but it's just the turnovers really being the big factor here as to why they're down by so much. But right now, getting some good defense here from Vegas, as Katagura has to go for a desperation 3, and it's going to be in and out, and it will be going out of bounds to the wild card. So lucky bounce there, as it looked like it was going to be another situation where the Tigers are going to have another second chance opportunity. So now Cards. Ends up losing the ball there as Kataguri has a wide open shot to this lane and will take it with stride.
Yeah, I talked about her being kind of quiet in the first quarter or first half, but there you go. That's one way. Getting the ball, stealing it, and taking it yourself for the dunk on the other end. And Vegas doesn't know how to answer back, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. If they don't get back within 10 by the end of this quarter, it's done.
Yeah, and it's looking like to be the case as we get another basket there as Vegas is now down by 17. We're getting to a point where it's getting to that 20-point margin once again, and we get a quick layup, and it's going to be good this time. And now we are seeing the things are changing right here as the Ties this time going to be calling a timeout.
Yeah, they may want to bring in some of their players or, just talk to the team and make sure they understand, what we're doing going for the rest of the game because, they're again at that point where they get to dictate how this game is going to go. Do they want to keep the pedal on the metal? Or are they going to be a little bit more conservative and try and burn some clock? What is the game plan here?
Yeah, that's certainly the case here as right now the Tides have a chance to continue to expand this major deficit for the Cards. And now McRae looking to pass it over to Dubai, and Ivy's able to get that quick block. And it will be going over to wild card, so you were right that we're deciding to go ahead and bring Ivy in after the onslaught that they've been getting, and you can tell how important she is that she was able to go ahead and get that defensive stop.
Again, immediately having an impact as soon as she's on the floor. Ivy is the anchor of the Vegas post, and I know Brandon obviously wants to become that kind of player too, but right now it's the Great Dane that is so key to Vegas' success here or failure.
Yeah, but right now you can imagine that they're going to go right to her every time they get a chance and dare her to try and stop this as Kataguri is defending her well. And right now we are seeing that attack happen, and like I said, Ivy really wants to be able to try and defend as much as she can, but there's not much she can do with 5 fouls.
Yeah, she's going to be a little tight on her defense. She's not going to be as aggressive as, we normally see. And, a miss there and down by 15. Bangor will get the last shot of this quarter. And I'm going to go ahead and say I think Vegas, unless Bangor absolutely chokes it here. And, great block from Ivy.
Yep.
Good heads-up defensive play.
And that will be the end of 3 with that block. Vegas will have possession in the 4th quarter, but they have got a lot of catching up to do as we head into that final quarter.
I mean, again, it's Bangor has to absolutely fall apart because even if Vegas comes out on fire, even a lukewarm performance by Bangor at this point should be enough to wrap up this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some crazy games before, Ryan. So I'm on the whim of saying never say never when we're in the finals. But as you said, it's a tall order to ask for any team to do. We'll see if the Cards are up to the task as they are down by 15. And that gets cut off pretty quickly with a quick basket there from Morrison.
No, Marcus, you don't understand. I have to give hot takes in order to cause Vegas to come back in this game.
We'll see if that works with you, but that certainly is going to be the case here with Ash Van Zet extending the lead up to 16 now with that 3.
Just daggers constantly being shoved into the chest of Vegas fans is, okay, great, we get a first basket to start the quarter, and then immediately a 3. Can Bo answer back? And he does! Not normally the 3-point shooter, but the Chickadee able to get 1 in return.
Yeah, much needed one at that, but they need to get a stop here as well. As right now we get to see a quick mid-ranger, and it's going to be good. And right now the Tides are having all kinds of offense as Anari is able to get that mid-range as 16 points are to her name. But now Bo Looking to try and answer right back, but this time it gets dismissed. But Robbins is able to draw the foul and one.
Again, she's so impactful when she's able to be on the floor. This is why I was so doubtful of them keeping her out. I mean, obviously, if she fouls out, the game's over. Um, so Vegas is just, gambling with every possession.
Yeah, I mean, what else do we know from the wild cards? They are known to gamble quite a lot over the years, and that doesn't change here as Robbins is going to make the old school three-point play as Vegas has a chance to bring it with single digits if they get a stop here. But the Tides are not looking for that to be the case as Dupuy going into the paint, but is defended well against Brandon.
And Brandon needs to step up and be the physical one right now. With Robbins so close to fouling out, Brandon, with his, I think, only having 2 fouls at this point, can be the one to get physical and really punish them when they get in the paint. They can't rely on Robbins.
Speaking of physicality, Brandon putting his body against Oakley hard, trying to get that quick mid-range.
And same thing on the other end. Again, needs to be physical in the post. Punish them, make them a bit sore, trying to fight him back. And, he has the body for it. And Rainbow trying to hit the three.
And it's not going to be good. So now we're going to see Doyle trying to go for the finger roll, but it's not going to be good this time. Trying to finally cut it back within single digits. But it ended up not being the case here. Dupuy tried to pressure it back up to Inari. And right now, back over to Dupuy. Dupuy got a way to get it passed by Brandon, and we'll lay it up and in. Putting the Bear on skates.
He said field goal percentage, hasn't been terrible this half for either team, but it's just the turnovers have really been costly.
And right now, speaking of the Tides, getting a quick steal there, and now having a chance to extend this once again. Right now, Dupuy hands it over to Rainbow, and Ash trying to get his way into the paint, but instead have the dish it back out to the perimeter. Dupuy once again with the rock. Dupuy does get the screen. Got Ivy defending, but it's not going to be good. But Angel slamming it down, and Ivy deciding to not go for it, not wanting to risk that 6th foul.
Yeah, honestly, she was so out of position in terms of being able to actually get a paw on that, and I think any kind of attempt would have been that whistle blown. And now Brandon, that was dangerous, almost over a back call, but still goes Bangor's way.
Yeah, right now we do see a quick shot there, but it's not going to be good. But Angel, once again, with the rebound, and the ball gets stripped there by Ivy, and it picked up by Brandon. Great defensive effort there from the two. Now we're going to sit past to Murphy. Murphy for mid-range, and it's good. So Vegas still down by quite a bit, but they still have a shot with 8 minutes left of the game, only down by 12.
I mean, they've closed the margin a little bit. I'll give them that, but I've not seen enough. Even though defense now with her back on the floor is starting to really step it up.
Yeah, that is the case as Morrison ends up losing the ball there once again. And now another fast break opportunity as Ash is able to try to get it down, but no. Warren, good defense there on the fast break. So now Vegas trying to keep their hopes alive for this series as Doyle does get the mid-range. And we need to see more of that from the veteran as he gets his 11th point of the game. And now, right now, Angel gets swatted out of the sky.
Ivy, my heart is stopping every time I see her go up for a block like that, but that is, I think she's given up on being rational in her attempts, because that was a risky block, and was it worth it? Heck yes.
Quick way to quiet things down a little bit here. But of course, there's still plenty of shot clock left for the Tides. And we're going to see a quick steal there from Ivy. And Ivy is finally taking control of this game with a dunk.
I mean, good God. There was no one in frame for that. It was Ivy alone pretty much with the ball after that strip.
And just like that, the Cards has brought it back within single digits. And now McDonald Rainbow ends up turning the ball over, trying to get the handoff, and it will be Wildcard's ball.
Marcus, this is clearly Bangor easily winning. 100%.
Well, right now, we'll see. We'll have to wait and see in that situation for this. Obviously not trying to jinx things, calling. As now Murphy with the rock, trying to get into the paint. We'll go for the finger roll, and it's good. Wild cards out of nowhere. Down by 16 at one point. It's only down by 6.
Yeah, and it's been the turnovers for Bangor, and obviously the defense stepping up with Robbins back on the floor, absolutely being a tear in the post, and Bangor's going to have to pull it out to the perimeter, get some answers, as Fullerton does hit that 3.
A very important 3 there at this point of the game with under 6 minutes left of the game. And right now, Morrison trying to get into the paint, finds a way to get around 2 defenders, but it's not going to go down there as Angel gets the rebound. So now Bangor has a chance to bring this back within double digits. But right now, Vegas is not going to go down without a fight here. Get a quick pass as Ash wide open for 3. And it's not going to be good this time. Robbins with the rebound.
Yeah, that's painful. Ash so open, had an opportunity. And Doyle, ooh, he could have maybe taken a 3, but he's going to drive to the post and spot up shot. Doyle has been uncharacteristically involved in the offense thus far, and he's been well needed. Alley-oop!
Oh, goodness. Fullerton trying to make sure to keep the crowd in it with that alley-oop dunk. As Bangor has a chance to make it to the century mark here with just passing a 5-minute mark in this game. But right now, Vegas still trying to keep toe-to-toe here. As we get a quick mid-range, and it's not going to be good this time as Anari does get the rebound. And I got to imagine if they get a big basket here, that might be the nail of the coffin.
Well, if they stop turning the ball over, I would agree, but they've had a couple of silly mistakes. And an over-the-back foul. The basket will count, but that is a 3rd foul now on Oakley.
Yeah, though I don't think it really matters too much considering that we only got 4.5 minutes left in the game. And right now the Tide's almost getting another steal there. Morrison is able to recollect herself, pass it over to Ivy.
And we saw Fullerton, 13 points off the bench, has been very impactful in this game. And a blocking, reach-in foul on Angel now. Maybe the bonus might come into play if they keep going like this.
Yeah, that is certainly the case, as right now Vegas trying to crawl their way back into this game, but there's not a lot of room for error here. They need to get these next few baskets in order to keep this into a game, as Morrison goes for 3, but it's going to be in and out, and that might do it here as Angel gets the rebound.
11 points, 4 minutes to go. We've seen those runs happen, but it's usually been one team absolutely falling apart that's requiring such a turnaround and score. And if I'm Bangor, I'm slowing down the possession. It's a 4-possession game, and Ash off the screen, not good, even though wide open.
Yeah, and right now, Vegas has to be careful to not make any kind of mistakes as Doyle finds a lane and legs it up and in.
Again, it's 4 possessions here. That's 15 points total for Doyle tonight. And, that's about a minute and a half that you can just burn off the clock by just standing there. But that does leave another minute and a half you have to account for, and it's close. I don't see Vegas hitting 3 threes. They're going to have to get some 2s mixed in.
Yeah, right now we see a long 2 being good there. And right now, it's a battle between Doyle and Ash Van Zandt to try and see what the results are. But no matter how many times Vegas scores, they need to get the stop on the other end to be able to make this a chance, because they don't have a lot of time left. As Robbins is not going to get the and1 opportunity, but draw the foul against Angel.
Yeah, I mean, turnovers. Bangor, has to turn the ball over if Vegas wants to, really have a good shot at closing this gap. And we've seen a couple good jumps on the passing lane, but it's really been the Vegas side that struggled with keeping possession of the ball, and we're going to see both starters. Actually, no, they're going to let King come in, some fresh legs for Bangor. Also deadly from beyond the arc.
Yeah, and I'm probably trying to see if they can get some couple of quick threes to try and give them a chance, but they need a stop here. If they don't get a stop here, then that's going to be game. As now Oakley going toe for toe, instead heads it over to McDonald Rainbow. And Rainbow finds a way to get into the lane, and that's going to be good, and that's going to do it.
I mean,
Bangor back up by 11 with 2:20 left in the fourth quarter, and the Wildcards will call a timeout.
I don't love the timeout call here in the sense that, you only had 2 left, and those final 2 timeouts are so important for bringing the ball up the court when you are limited on time. But they need to drop a plan. Like you said, the game is dangerously close to being over. Vegas needs a quick possession, a stop, a quick possession, and another stop, and then maybe some life can be brought back into this game. And
well, they need some threes here, but instead they will go into the paint as Baylor cleaning up his own miss, trying to get some points on the board as they are now once again down by 9. But they're going to need some good stops and some pretty ice cold threes to really get back into this.
And if Bangor just can burn clock, that's their goal right now, is burn clock, don't waste possessions. Obviously, if you can get the basket, great, but Oakley going to shoot from beyond the arc, and not his normal range, but they did milk every second of that shot clock.
Yeah, they do, and Morrison's able to go for a quick basket there, and Ty's going to call a timeout.
Yeah, I mean, again, 7-point deficit now, that's 3 possessions. You can burn a solid minute.
You can.
All you need to do is get 1 bucket, and then you start forcing your opponent to foul you.
Yeah, and that's really all they need here. And plus, with the fact it'll be on their end, so they don't have to worry about bringing it down. So now all they got to do is just take their time with it and not make any lackluster moves to get the ball stolen. But instead, they're going to go for an early basket, and it ends up not being good. So Vegas coming with life as Ivy slams it down. And oh boy, I may have spoke too soon about this being over as well. Vegas now only down by 5 with only about a minute left of this game. And right now, the Tides trying to find something, and they will get an answer back here. But it ain't over till it's over, as both sides 49% in field goal percentage.
Yeah, but it's been the turnovers that have helped Bangor get this lead. And I want to see a 3, honestly, is Baylor not able to hit that. And they're going to have to start fouling, honestly. I mean, they might let this possession run out, but down by 7, Bangor can just burn the shot clock, and that's all they're going to do here.
Yeah, that's really all you can really do for here. And right now, we got a quick block there from Brandon, but it does get dishes back over to King, and they will just continue to slowly call this their bluff, and hands over to Oakley. Oakley can defend it very well as Brandon does end up getting the board, but now they need to get threes. They have to make them rain quick.
I mean, quick turnovers as well. They have a lot of work they have to do, and they're going to go with Morrison for the 3, and it is good, but the shot clock is turned off, and they are down by 4, so they have to foul. That is their only choice unless they can get a steal on the inbound.
Yeah, like I said, we've seen some crazy stuff. If they are able to get a steal off the inbound and be able to go try to get a fast break in this opportunity, but that's not going to be the case, and they will draw the fouls here, and they will send them over to the bonus as McDonald Rainbow is able to pick it up once again, and they're now in the bonus.
Yeah, and
first one is good.
If he makes a second, he puts them in a tough position because they'll have to get a steal. They have to hit a 3 and then steal and then a 3. And he does. And Vegas is going to call their final timeout. And now they're going to bring it up to half court. They have to shoot a 3. Then they have to get a turnover and shoot another 3. At this point, fouling does nothing because you're down by 2 possessions.
Yeah, the game's over at that point if they are able to get that inbound and right now, you can imagine that Lindsay might be the for her to get the ball, and that is the case. Morrison going for that three. It's in and out. Ivy does get the board. We'll pass it over to Doyle. Doyle for three, but it's no good, and that's gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna foul.
Ivy. Yep.
They're not giving up on the game, but it is over at this point. As
Yep.
Robbins
Ivy.
finally fouls out after the intentional foul, she's done with this game.
Yep. She's officially fouled out. Bangor is now up by 8, and that will be the end of it. Bangor is now. Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, gonna hit the buzzer beater just to keep it within 5, but you're right. Bangor up 3-1 in the finals.
3-1 with a chance to be able to finish this off in 5. We do look at the stats, and really Oakley picking it up in the picking it up a little bit in the second half, and so did Ash Van Zet. But you got to give some credits to Anari too.
Yeah, I mean, all the players, even AMR, putting up 24 points. Uh, it was a team effort still on Bangor, and like you said, the players that we saw kind of struggling in the first half showed up in the second, and that's what the difference maker was in the end of the day. Fullerton coming off the bench, 13 points. The bench was really struggling in that first half, and then with
Mm-hmm.
him lighting up in the second, they finally pulled a little bit even with Vegas's bench in terms of productivity.
Yeah, and really this really kind of goes down into the fact that the turnovers in the third quarter once again became a huge factor. Now, obviously, it wasn't like nearly as bad as it was in the third in game number 3, but you got it. There's a lot of questions to be made here as to what they need to do as they're now going back on the road in Vegas at risk of losing it all here.
Yeah, and I mean Vegas again. Everyone kind of did okay. Robbins was the one who definitely was the star of the show tonight, but again, no one is stepping up as the main star on this team right now to lead the team when they need it most. I mean, they came very close. I'm not going to discount their team play.
Mhm.
The fact that they got it back within 4 at one point
Yes,
after being down by almost 20 again. It's just they needed this game.
they really did, and now even if they are able to get out of Vegas in a game 5, game 6 is going to be it's really what a lot of people are going to expect it if the Tides are ending up winning this out either in 5 or 6 at this point because of the amazing effort that they did within game 3 and game 4.
Yeah, I mean, again, they have to run it back 3 in a row, two of which or one of which is going to be on the road. That is not easy. And I mean, this is the closest game that they've had in Bangor, so I'll at least say it was competitive. As you look at the stats, it was the steals that really gave Bangor the edge here tonight. Uh, and they had a 17-point lead, and that did fall down to 4 at one point. It's just not good enough, Vegas. You have to hold on to the ball if you want to have a good shot at winning.
Yeah, for sure, and that's pretty much kind of the big thing with these discussions. And I gotta say, when we talk about it, Oakley, like the good thing here is that you've been able to contain most of the front court as much as you could. Like category did not have as has as much of an impact compared to the previous games that we've seen so far. But at the end of the day, it does really come into how much dangerous it can become when one of your front court players are in foul trouble. And with Ivy, once again, being in that situation, being fouled out this time, it becomes very much a tall order for putting a lot of faith in one rookie to try to take control of everything.
Well, and again, I go back to this is the second game Robbins has been in foul trouble, and her being missing on the floor has been so impactful. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about Vegas bringing in uh, Brandon in the draft, but they also let Nikolai walk, and in free agency, is this showing a symptom of their the inexperience and the lack of depth that they have at that center position, that where all it takes is one of them to get in foul trouble for the team to not be able to defend the post as they need to?
Yeah, it's really coming into it because like it was a gamble. It was a gamble what they did in the draft, going after Brandon the way that they did, and it's certainly going to be one of those discussions as to how they are going to bounce back from this. Because yes, being you're gonna be back in Vegas. That's probably like the positive out of this situation is that you're going back home to possibly try to extend this one, but you're in the worst case scenario now. How are you able to conjure up the confidence to be able to extend this?
Yeah, and they're gonna have a whole day to think about it tomorrow as they travel back, and then 2 days from now, we might have our champion declared. Or can Vegas extend it one more game? Any final thoughts, Marcus, before we sign off for the night?
All I gotta say is that it's been a very exciting time. It's gonna be a wait and see to see what exactly happens, and I'm just hoping for a very entertaining game nonetheless.
Yeah, I've been Ryan Eastman. That was Marcus Baylor. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you in 2 days. Have a good night.
See ya.